Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a video on life as a highly sensitive person. And this is something that I've been asked to do a video on a couple of times. How do you get through your day being someone that's like an empath or a highly sensitive person, and what are some of the things that are tips that you can give me, and all these things. So I'm going to be answering some of those questions in this video. So if you want to hear any kind of tips or techniques that I use to get through my day as a highly sensitive person, then please keep watching. So the first one and the most common one is how to handle being in a crowd, how to handle crowds. And for me, like, one of the main things that happen is like when I'm in a crowd, and this has been happening since I was very, very young, and I never understood it. I honestly did not understand it. I started getting panic attacks, but not like to the point where you're like, oh my God, I'm in such a busy area. It was more like it was subtly come on, and I didn't know what it was. And I remember that, in crowded and being in school, and it was like high school, it was so crowded. I remember high school, that's when it really started hitting me, and it was so crowded in the hallways that I always had to carry a bottle of water because from the anxiety, my throat would get really thirsty. So I actually developed a technique that I found worked for me back then, and it continues to work for me now. Yeah, whether I'm in a shopping mall or, anywhere that's really busy, like downtown areas, or if I'm stuck in traffic and all those things, is actually focusing on my breathing. Like, not changing my breathing pattern, but just focusing on each breath as I'm taking it. Because one of the things that happens is when you're a highly sensitive person and you're in a crowd, your heart starts to change its rhythm. It starts to beat faster. You start feeling like your palms are sweaty, and you just started to get like blood rushing all around you. And so if you just focus on your breath, just focusing on every breath that you're taking, you're not focusing on the chaos that's around you. You're not focusing on what's making you feel that way. And I found that that brings me to center, especially when you can't get away. And I found that this technique actually works really, really well in traffic. The other thing that I do is I either go shopping when, it's not so busy. I find hours. I definitely don't go on the weekends because that's when it's crazy. But I choose hours that are like when I know that it's going to be less busy and that there'll be less people. And a lot of times I run into other people that I know, and I'm like, hey, you go shopping around the same time as me. It's because that that time and it's not going to be so busy in the shopping center or the shopping mall or the store or the grocery store and all that. So those are the two things that I've noticed for crowds. The second one is foods, like foods that I took in and foods that I was eating, is that I didn't realize that I was sensitive to the foods that I was eating. I remember that when I was younger, I had really, really bad acne. I also had really bad eczema, and I didn't realize that it was caused from the foods that I was eating. My mom took me to dermatologists a few times, and like for my face and like different creams, and put me on different medications and all these things, but it wasn't healing it. I later found out that it was from hormones and things in the meat, things in the milk, and I started eliminating these things because one of my favorite things was to eat cheese. And the more and more I ate it, the more and more my face flared up. So I started eliminating the foods that I thought was doing this. It was through friends that they told me it's because you're drinking milk. And I was like, milk? Milk does this to me? It wasn't like I knew. So I started, okay, why don't I just eliminate dairy and see what happens? And then I started eliminating the meats as well because I found out it was the hormones in the meats as well. That shifted a lot of things. When I started adding more whole foods, more plant-based foods, things started to shift. I started to notice my face was clearing up. I started to notice my eczema was going away. And slowly and surely that things started to change within my body, and I didn't realize how sensitive I was to the chemicals in certain foods, that even just the produce, I was feeling like there's certain things that I was causing itching in my body. So I changed to more organic whole foods. And since then, I do not have eczema on my hands anymore. I don't have acne anymore. and it's amazing how that, just changing that, changed my life. Some people have also said that, and I've heard this from other authors like Doreen Virtue and other healers, that some people are so sensitive, being so sensitive to foods and especially meats, that they can sense the energy of the animal when they went to slaughter. Like they can feel it through the food, like a medium. So there are different levels of people's sensitivity when it comes to eating meat or the foods that you put into your body. And it's interesting because as I was transitioning and letting go of the foods, I went vegetarian, and it's like shortly after I went completely vegan, and I've been so happy for that, and it's really cleared up, any kind of problems that I had. So I would say, if you're a highly sensitive person, look into the foods that you're eating and see if that's causing some of the anxiety, or if that's causing some of the issues that you're feeling, because a lot of sensitive people are sensitive to the chemicals in the food, and those chemicals have a reaction to us we don't even realize, because we just keep going on our day-to-day basis. And from the people that were telling me that I needed to change certain things, as soon as I did, that's when I realized, oh my God, they were right. There was things in my life that were causing issues that I didn't even know of. So that's something to look into. So as a highly sensitive person, you also see that people are attracted to you. People want to come to you for guidance. They want to come to you with their problems. They somehow know that you're compassionate. You're somebody that wants people to thrive, that even though that you're so sensitive, because being a highly sensitive person, you're connected to other people's emotions. And being that connected to other people's emotions, you need ways to release that. And that leads me to the next point, is alone time. This one I can't stress enough. And I know this for myself, is that you need to take time alone. Whether you're married or not, or with somebody, you always, always, always have to take time for yourself. I find that when I take time for myself, it helps with my relationship. I find that when I take time in meditation or take time away, it helps with the things that are going on in my life. Being a highly sensitive person, you need to know ways to release the toxic energy that's around you. A lot of negativity, you hold on to this because you absorb it like a sponge, and you need ways to release it. When I didn't know that I was a highly sensitive person and that I was attracting all these things, there was a friend of mine that told me that, you should sage your house, you should do these things, put little amulets in your car, and just little crystals that help, keep the energy clear. And also I was recommended books and courses. Some of those I'll link in the description box below, because I found them super useful when it came to the knowledge of being a highly sensitive person, because a lot of people don't know that they are highly sensitive to certain things. I didn't. I had no idea. And by learning about it and understanding it, and still learning about it and still understanding it, it's helped me to know that there are certain things that we need to do to help ground ourselves, to help recharge ourselves. Because as a highly sensitive person, you do feel tired, because you're constantly draining your energy, you're constantly absorbing energy, you're constantly filing this energy off. You have to have ways to release it. And taking certain baths, like ritual baths, ritual showers, doing float tanks, and all these things is super important to heal yourself, to focus on yourself. And that's what's important. As a highly sensitive person, you need to take that time for yourself. And I found that to be the most difficult out of the whole journey for me, is to take time for yourself. So I highly recommend that for anyone that feels like they are a sensitive person, or feels like they need that space. It's very important, and I would say that's the number one. You're number one. You're the most important, that you need to take the time for yourself. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like these types of videos and want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.